Hello everybody, how you doing? This is Fahad and this video is about the images and the HTML. The image tag is used to embed an image in a web page. The syntax of the image and in the image element there are the two required attributes. One is the source and the second one is the alt. In the source you give the URL of the image and we have the alt. The alt attribute is an alternative text for the image if for reasons your picture doesn't load on the web page. In this video we're gonna learn about these different attributes of the image. Without just wasting the time, let's just go to the editor and see how the things work there. I have written the basic structure of the HTML file. Now I just want to add the image. So for image I only need to write the image, and now I have to write the attribute, source attribute, and in the source attribute I will describe. There are the three different ways of giving the URL of the image in the HTML. If the image exists in the same folder of your HTML file, then you don't have to give it a proper or the full path of the image. All you need to write is to give a name of your image. Give it a name and attributes alt. Now I also want to use the width property. I'm gonna go with the 400 I guess, and height I would go with the 400 as well. You can give the width and the height in this way, and as well as you can also give width and height in the style attribute. So how we gonna specify the size of the image or the width or the height of the image in the style attribute? All you need to do is to write the style, write the width, give it a value 400 px and semicolon, and height 40 for now. Save this thing and it will work fine. So you can give the height and the width in a both way in a style attribute and as well as separately in a width and the height attribute, but I just find it better to go with the width and the height attribute. So that was the one way of giving the path of the image. Alright, let me just copy this thing. If your image is in another folder, not in the same folder of the HTML file, then you have to give the full path of that image. For example, for the lighthouse image I have to give it a full path. So alright, so this is it. So this is how you can give the URL. I have described the two different ways of describing the image URL. If the image exists in the same folder of your HTML file, then all you need to give is just a name of the image. But if it does not exist in the same file, then you have to give it a proper path of that image. And what if you want to get image from any website? For that, let me just copy this thing. I have to save this, see this thing. And if you want to get the image from the internet, you have to copy the whole URL of that image. Then you have to paste it in the URL of the source attribute. Save this file and run it again. HTML file is not looking good, so I have to give the size kind of properly. So I'm just going for the 600 in width. It kind of look better now. And one more thing, if I just don't give the URL properly, then it won't show anything. Now you can see the text here. This is the HTML. So here comes the use of the alt attributes. So whenever you cannot load your image for some reason, then the text that you have written in the alt attribute will be displayed. There is one more attribute that we need to talk about, is the float attributes. Let me just delete this thing to make the situation easy. To use the float property, we have to use it with the text or the paragraph. Let me just write some text here. Now what I need to do here is to put image element into the paragraph. Delete this thing from here. Now I have to add to the style property. Let me run this code now. So how does the float property or the attribute works? That it will help the image to float on the right side or the left side of the text. If I just put the value right on the float, the image will float on the right side of the text. But if I just write the left here, then image will float on the left side of the text. Refresh this thing. Now you can see that difference. If I just want to go with the right again, it will put the image on the right side of the text. And this is all for this video. If you really find this helpful and useful, hit the like button and subscribe the channel, and bye bye.